54 tornadoes, 2 of them rated EF3 in Wisconsin. Nearly 750 total severe weather reports from a single outbreak event. These are the final numbers from the event that reshaped the landscape across parts of the upper Midwest and southern plains over the past several days. And the atmosphere is already loading for the next round. Let me walk you through what the next several days look like. Because what is setting up from here involves some of the sharpest weather contrasts this country has seen in a single week, and some of the most important warnings I can give to a part of the country that has not been paying attention all spring. First, the current period. And this is where the contrast is striking. Wind chills are dropping into the single digits and teens across the northern plains and upper Midwest right now. Not the low 30s, the single digits. Ohio is seeing temperatures drop below 30 degrees, and mid-April snow showers are falling across Michigan, Ohio, Maryland, Pennsylvania, and New York. The same states that experienced violent tornado activity days ago are now watching snow fall from the sky. Wisconsin and Michigan, April snow. Maryland and New York, April snow. This is the nature of the pattern operating at its extreme. The cold air surging in behind the departing storm system is as anomalous as the tornado outbreak that preceded it. The atmosphere is not easing back into normal seasonal behavior. It is swinging from one extreme to the other with remarkable speed. This cold snap is not a prolonged event. The temperatures will rebound. But the timing, mid-April, immediately after an EF3 tornado event in Wisconsin, underlines how unlike a normal spring this season has been. Now, looking ahead to the next pattern change, and this is where the forecast becomes urgent for a region that may be underestimating what is coming. A very intense low-pressure system is moving out of the Pacific Ocean. It will cross the Rocky Mountains and descend into the Great Plains, dropping to around 987 millibars at its surface center. That is an exceptionally deep surface low for a spring system. Deep lows create tight pressure gradients. Tight pressure gradients mean strong winds, not just in storms, but across the open landscape in general. For Kansas and Texas specifically, the combination of those strong non-thunderstorm winds and the critically dry air that has been sitting over these areas is creating elevated fire weather conditions. Dry vegetation, low humidity, and wind gusts strong enough to carry embers over significant distances. The fire risk in Kansas and parts of Texas during the passage of this system warrants real caution. Any open burning, any fire whatsoever, in these areas during this period needs to be avoided. Isolated severe storms are also possible across the Dakotas, Nebraska, and Kansas as this system approaches. If any cells become surface-based, large hail and isolated tornadoes are possible. This is not the primary headline of this system, but it is real and worth monitoring. Now, Thursday. This is the most important day in the upcoming forecast, and I want to address the Southeast specifically, because if you live in Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, or anywhere in the Dixie Alley corridor, Thursday and the days that follow are your first warning of what is coming. This spring has been exceptionally quiet for the Southeast from a severe weather standpoint. One of the quietest springs in at least 5 years for that region. If you live in the Southeast and you have spent the last several weeks watching events in Wisconsin and Iowa and Texas on the news without feeling personally affected, that is about to change. The severe weather pattern this week, starting Thursday and continuing through the weekend and into the following week, is going to push south and east from the Great Plains into exactly the regions of the country that have been sitting out this spring's active weather so far. This is not a warning to generate anxiety. It is a warning to generate preparedness. If you have family in Arkansas or Tennessee or Mississippi, now is a good time to have a conversation with them about their shelter plans. Back to Thursday itself. The setup is being described among forecasters as the potential for a small-scale tornado outbreak across the Great Plains and Midwest. Discrete and semi-discrete supercells will fire from Minnesota southward through Iowa, Kansas, and Nebraska. These cells will have access to the atmospheric instability and wind shear that has repeatedly produced dangerous tornadoes this spring. Very large hail and damaging winds will accompany the tornado threat. The time range for Thursday's initiation is the afternoon hours, consistent with daytime heating driving storm development. By the evening hours, the individual supercells will begin to upscale. They will merge into a larger organized system and push through western Wisconsin, eastern Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois. This evolution from discrete cells to a larger system shifts the primary threat from organized tornado production to widespread damaging winds and embedded QLCS tornadoes. The corridor from Minnesota through Kansas and down toward Oklahoma City is inside Thursday's primary risk zone, and if enough instability materializes further south, the threat could extend into Texas as well. These details will sharpen as Thursday approaches. Watch the daily forecast updates between now and Thursday morning, then Friday. And this is where I want the Southeast to pay very close attention. A major severe weather threat returns to the deep south on Friday. Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas. This is not a marginal fringe threat. This is a widespread, organized severe weather day for a region that has barely been touched this spring. Damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes are all in the threat profile for Friday across this corridor. The Southeast's quiet spring is not a sign that the atmospheric pattern has been protecting the region. It has been bypassing the region. The same engine that has been driving outbreaks in the Midwest is now positioned to redirect energy southward, and when it does, it will be sending organized systems into an area where the instability is building, but the community preparedness may be lower than in regions that have been on high alert all spring. There is a specific pattern dynamic at work here that explains the shift. The West Coast trough that has been steering storm systems into the Midwest is deepening and extending its reach further south and east. As the jet stream amplifies, as the troughs dig deeper and the ridges build higher, the severe weather corridor expands from its Midwest focus into the southern states. This is not random. This is a predictable consequence of how the atmospheric pattern evolves as it matures through late April. Saturday and continuing into the following week, another new low-pressure system will trigger additional severe weather across Dixie Alley and the broader Southeast. This is not a one-day event for the South. It is the beginning of an extended active period. The 7 to 10 days ahead for the southeastern United States, Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, the Carolinas. This is a period that demands the same level of attention that Wisconsin and Iowa have been giving to their forecasts all spring. Subscribe to local alerts. Know your shelter location. If you are in a mobile home or manufactured housing, identify the nearest permanent structure in your area right now. Mobile homes provide no meaningful protection from even a weak tornado. This is one of the most important pieces of preparation any person can act on before the weekend. Let me also briefly address the broader national pattern context. The cold air that is bringing mid-April snow to Ohio and New York right now is part of the same pattern engine. The cold air from the north clashing with warm, unstable Gulf air pushing north. The East Coast quiet spell does not last into next week. As the reloading jet stream pushes the severe weather pattern eastward through the following weekend, portions of the Ohio Valley, and eventually the East Coast itself, could see severe weather threats by Sunday and Monday of next week. This is a week-long or longer active pattern for nearly the entire eastern United States. Here is your clean timeline. Right now through the weekend, cold air, single-digit to teens wind chill across northern plains. Mid-April snow in Michigan, Ohio, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York. The pattern appears quiet, but it is temporary. Wednesday, intense low-pressure system crosses the Rockies. Fire weather risk in Kansas and Texas from strong winds and dry air. Isolated severe storms possible in the Dakotas, Nebraska, and Kansas if cells become surface-based. Thursday, Minnesota through Kansas through Oklahoma City. Small-scale tornado outbreak possible. Discrete supercells with very large hail, damaging winds, tornadoes in the afternoon. Upscale to organized line in the evening pushing through Wisconsin, Iowa, Missouri, Illinois. Friday, Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas. Major severe weather day for the Deep South. Widespread threat for a region that has had its quietest spring in years. All hazards. Have shelter plans ready before Friday morning. Saturday through next week. Dixie Alley and broader Southeast. Extended active severe weather period begins. New low-pressure system drives repeated rounds of storms across Arkansas, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia. East Coast severe weather threats by Sunday and Monday. Southeast residents, share this information with family and friends in your region. The quiet spring you've experienced is ending. The next 7 to 10 days require your full attention. We will be tracking all of this closely. See you in the next update.